because review is always helpful for mastering skills, this is a review question that you're going to see in the next few days. It says, select all the values that are represented by the point on the number line below. Explain how you know. I'm given a list of choices and this dot here on my number line. Now I notice one thing here. My number line includes all the way from 0 to 2. And my dot is in between 1 and 2. So I know immediately that any choice that I make is going to have to include a whole number 1 and then an additional amount that's pretty close to 2. So right now I know A is not an option because that is smaller than 1, so that doesn't fit. 1 3/4 could fit, and if I look at the pieces that I have 1, 2, 3, 4. My whole number is divided into 4. And I have 1, 2, 3 of those. So this is one of the options that matches what I see here. Now 1 3/5 might look like it's close, but because this is divided into 4 and not 5 pieces, I know that this is not one of the options that represents what I see. Now D is very much like A. This is actually the decimal form of 3/4. Because it's smaller than 1, I can remove that from my list of options. Now 1 75/100, because I know that 3/4 equals 0 75/100, this is also one of my correct choices. Because we have 1 3/4, that is equal to 1 75/100. The next option, 1/6, doesn't fit. It's close, but it doesn't fit because 1/6 is not the same as 75/100. Or I shouldn't say 1/6, I should say 6/10 is not the same as 75/100. Finally, 7/4. Now this one is a little bit trickier because it's written as an improper fraction, and so if I don't know immediately how to read that or understand that, it can be very tricky. There's two things that I can do. I'm going to show you what I think is the easier option first. Because I know that this is also divided into fourths, I know that this right here is 4/4. And right here, we've already counted, is 3/4. Because we have the same denominator, we can add them. So we have 3/4 and 4/4. We add those together, that gives us 7/4. Another way that we can figure this out is 7/4 equals, and actually not what I meant to do. I'm going to change that into a proper fraction, or sorry, a mixed number. And so I can take this number on the top, 7, and divide it by the denominator 4. Now I know 4 goes in there one time, and that leaves 3. So I have 1, and then 3, my remainder, fourths. So 1 3/4. 7/4 equals 1 3/4. So this is another choice that I can include. So now for my written response, I can include what I determined there. And I've explained a lot of it verbally already to you, but I'll go ahead and write that. So 1 3/4, 1 75/100, and 7/4 are all equivalent, which means that they have the same value. They are written in different forms, but they have the same value. Now, Mr. Johnston might phrase it differently or include some additional details, for example, how we knew that 3/4 was equal to 75/100, but I think this would be sufficient if you're able to tell that these are the same even though they're written in different forms. This is a mixed number, and I guess I will write it out. This is a decimal, or decimal form, and this is an improper fraction.